So I've touched on this issue of uncertainty in college admissions a lot. I wanted to give kind of a full explanation of it. I wanted to kind of take a deeper dive. Uh, it's a little complicated and there's a lot here. So this video is for students who are maybe 10th grade, 11th grade, and you're really worried, or maybe you think you're about to get worried. You're going to be worried in the near future, and you want something really powerful, really strong. You want to know the truth. Like, okay, I got to deal with this. I don't want to be like stressing out and going crazy like my older brother did. And so, give it to me. I'm going to really concentrate and find a solution to this. Okay, this is the video for you. All right. As soon as I say the word Bayesian, I think a lot of people just kind of get turned off by it. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's very uncomfortable. The human brain is not designed to deal with uncertainty and probabilities and this type of thing. Bayesian thinking basically is like using statistics and probability to make decisions. You start with like an assumption or a hypothesis, and then you assign probabilities to different potential outcomes. And as they become true or false, you update your hypothesis and proceed thus. Most people in the world do not know how to do this. This is the sad reality. Everybody instead thinks in terms of binary, they're very binary thinking, right? It's either I get into Harvard or not. I'm either good enough or I'm a total failure. And life is not like that. The college admissions process is, in some ways, and you've probably heard me say this many times before, it's the first time a young adult gets smacked right in the face with real life. Okay, real life is loaded with uncertainty. Am I going to find my potential mate? How am I going to get a job? Am I going to make money? Am I going to be successful? What city should I move to? There's just so many decisions you have to make in life where there's no clear formula for it. The problem is, one of the problems of our education system is that it's very formulaic. It's like a factory. Basically, school is a factory. And so if you do A plus B plus C, that equals E, right? If you do 1, 2, 3, these steps, then your teacher gives you an A. If you miss one, then you get a B. If you miss two of those, you get a C. And it's very formulaic. So school can be very, very difficult, and it can be very complicated, but it's not complex. It's not, there's no uncertainty in it. There's a lot of certainty in school. If you put a lot of effort into it and and you follow instructions, then for the most part you're going to do well. And if you don't do that, then you're not going to do well. And that's what students are accustomed to. So when they start thinking about the college app, it's a big headache because there is no clear formula. There was a student who got a 4.0 GPA and she got rejected from all the top colleges. There was a student who had a 3.7, but he got accepted to Harvard. You know, like, what the heck is going on? Like, what's the formula? Well, there is no formula. That's the problem. And so as soon as you understand that there is no formula, you come face to face with the fact that college admissions is a very uncertain process. And this is the number one source of, this is the real cause of the anxiety, right? So I'm going to teach you how to deal with this in the most scientific, rational way possible. And this is actually something you can use throughout the rest of your life. And if you can do it well, you'll find yourself in a different class. Most people can't do this type of reasoning. And so, yeah, you'll get really smart with it. So anyway, yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about 4 basic points, okay? There's a lot here. Anytime you have questions, you can either leave comments in the video, or you can email me at mentors@ivzen.net, okay? I love talking about this stuff, and I know it's very helpful to students. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is, why is this process uncertain? It doesn't really make sense, because if the college admissions office wanted to be fair, they would take the highest GPA, highest SAT score, and then admit those students. And if you're below that, you don't get in, right? That's how it's done. But yes, there are a lot of different factors involved. However, for colleges, it's advantageous to them to make the process as uncertain and unclear as possible. And the reason is they have their own interests, okay? Everybody thinks that Harvard wants the best students in the world. That's not necessarily the case. They have many, many different interests. In many cases, they're competing interests. They have donors. They need to get donations, large donations. Harvard has billions of dollars in its endowment. They need that to fund their operation and to be Harvard, right? And so if someone comes along and gives $300 million, guess what? Their son, daughter, nephews, whoever, they're going to get in, even if they're bad students, right? That's part of the reality of Harvard. Sometimes they have special programs because they want to target some minority in Arkansas. And so they create this problem where they get 4 students every year from that program, right? 1 year they want more STEM students. The next year they want more humanities, social science students. There's all these different competing interests that have nothing to do with you, right? And so to think that there's one standard, and if I meet that standard, then I'm going to get in, that's very faulty thinking. Okay, so a lot of this uncertainty and difficulty and the anxiety that you're experiencing has nothing to do with you. Let it go. I'm going to talk about how to deal with this a little bit later, but for now, understand that there are many parts of this process that you just can't control, and you're not responsible for it. So don't try to control those uncontrollables. It's what causes a lot of the anxiety, okay? The second thing is, you have to think in terms of probabilities, okay? Don't think binary in a binary way. Don't think either or. There are lots of different probabilities to different activities that you do. Obviously, GPA, and I talk about this a lot as well, GPA is a main factor. You're not going to get into Harvard with a 2.0, well, unless you're an Olympic superstar. That's a real case, actually. GPA is a very high, very important thing, but it's not the most important thing. It's not the only important thing, right? And then doing student council, I would say that's a very low probability activity. I discourage students from doing student council if you want to get into the Ivy Leagues, right? So you have to think in terms of probabilities about what activity is going to help you and what is not, okay? The other thing is that don't fall for the small sample bias, cognitive bias, which means if you hear, and I hear parents talk about this a lot, and I always cringe when I hear it, and I tell them, I try to correct them every time, but it just never goes away. They say student A got into Stanford because she did activity X. It's like, yeah, just that one activity got her into Stanford. Maybe, maybe not, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's applicable to you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's beneficial to think about that. That's not a good frame of reference, right? Like I said, there could be some special program in Arkansas where they're trying to get these 3 or 4 students every year based on a certain, research internship or whatever. And so some parent hears about that and says, oh, you have to do this XYZ research internship. Well, that's not for you. It wasn't designed for you. And even if you did do it, you're not what they're looking for, so you're not going to get in. So you have to think very statistically about this. Okay. So the third thing is this, it's kind of what I just alluded to. The way you have to go about this is you have to think about your managing your time very strategically. Okay, strategy becomes very important in situations where there's a lot of uncertainty because there's a limited time, limited energy. Don't forget you have the limited energy. Okay, you can't burn the midnight oil forever. If you did, you'll have that one night, and then you'll have 3-4 days where you're trying to recover. That's a different point. With your limited time and energy and other resources, you have to focus those resources on the highest probability activities, the activities that have the highest probability of helping you get into the college that you want. Okay, and we've done seminars. We've done hundreds of seminars over the years about this. What activities to focus on, what activities are a waste of time, right? And so you have to be very strategic about it. Here's the problem. I'll give you an example. This is a real life example. It's a real life example I see, like really dramatic example. I'll see this like every 2 years, okay? 3 kids, they're the top 3 students at the school. Or let's say those 3 are in the top 20, okay? They grew up together, the parents know each other, and they all went to the same hagwons and the same academies and same programs and all this stuff, right? Studied with the same tutors and all of this. 2 of the students are not thinking strategically. They spend all their time trying to be number 1, right? Because when you're number 1, you get a lot of attention and it feels great. And there's nothing wrong with being number 1, except that it takes so much time and energy to do that you end up not being able to do other activities, which for the top colleges is much more important, okay? So we have student 1 and student 2 who look very similar. They're both ranked number 1. They're both ranked, the second one is ranked number 2. They have the best GPA, obviously. They have all near perfect SAT or perfect SAT. And then they have like the normal set of activities, student council, volleyball, band, orchestra. They did the UN stuff, and that's it. And then the third student is completely different. 3.75 GPA, and the mom is just going crazy, like, why can't you raise it? Why can't you be like your friends? But the student doesn't care. He's very strategic. He knows what he wants to do, and he focuses on very unique and interesting activities. He works with us at IBSEN. He works on social justice causes. He has like this LGBTQ website where he helps. He contributes to the community. He did very interesting research, won NHD. So he took a lot of the time that would have gone towards AP's SAT GPA, and he spent it on very unique and interesting activities. Okay, so what happens? Well, the third student gets into Stanford, the first student gets into Cornell, and the second student gets into Johns Hopkins. This happens all the time, okay? And everyone's like shocked, and they're like, what happened? And this is what they say. Even after they hear from people like us telling them like why they messed up, they'll say, well, it's just random. It's completely random. It's not completely random, okay? There's a lot of uncertainty in it, but it's not completely random. Otherwise, the third student wouldn't have got in. There are very specific reasons that the top students get in, and you have to think very carefully and strategically about what activities you focus on, okay? You don't have to just listen to us, but you should go somewhere, a good, solid college consulting, and at the very least, get a roadmap, get a plan, hear what they have to say about what you should prioritize your activities on, okay? And if you don't do that, you're gonna be anxious. Or if you're just ignoring it, then you're not gonna get good results, okay? Also, if you haven't done it and you feel like it's too late, it's never too late. There's always something that you can do to improve your odds, right? A lot of 11th graders will be like, well, I didn't do anything interesting, so it's over. You have a year. You know, as of now, you have 13 months, okay? You have 13 months, and there's a lot you can do, especially if you can work with a very experienced and a really good college consultant. They can tell you how to best use your time and give you activities that maximize your chances, right? So the first kind of thinking where you're just like, well, it's over, you know, because I didn't do the right things from the beginning. That's very either or binary kind of thinking, right? Whereas the second, if you think about adding things, refocusing, getting rid of stuff that's a waste of time, that's thinking more in terms of probability, right? And that's the way you need to approach this. Okay. The last thing that I want to mention is that, and this is a skill you'll be using throughout your life. There's so much of life that you cannot control. It's beyond your control. And those kinds of things, you just have to learn to let it go and ignore it. Be aware of it, but don't let it get to you, right? You have to learn to be at peace with the chaos and the uncertainty around you. You have to let go of this impulse to control everything around you. It's impossible. You can't do it, right? Show me a student that burnt out, and it's a student who tried to control the uncontrollables, okay? The flip side of that is that there are things you can control. If you're listening to this right now and you agree with the stuff that I'm saying, then go get some consultation. You can control that. It doesn't take much time or energy. Listen to what they have to say, have them make you a plan, and work off of that, right? That's a huge, huge thing that you can control. You really, literally just increase the agency of your life and this whole process by orders of magnitude. You know, one thing that I tell students a lot is like, don't read too much into what you see on the internet, right? Because every time you see activity A will get you into Harvard, then you'll see another comment that says activity A won't get you into Harvard. Also, as I've mentioned before in these videos, like if one student reads it, everyone's read it. If everyone does it, it's not unique anymore, right? So, yeah, focus a lot. Try to focus your attention on the things that you can control. And for those things that you can control, you need to get very active. The more you do in regards to the things that you can control, right? The stuff that you can control, the more you do of that, the less anxious you will be, the less confident, the more confident you will be, and the more energy you're going to get. And then that in return will help you do other stuff too. So that's the kind of virtuous cycle that you want to create in your life. What are some things that students can control? Well, you can definitely control the activities that you do. You can decide to do this activity, which will help you a lot. You can decide to no longer do this activity, which is a waste of time, right? I did an entire video on getting good teacher recommendations, so you can do that. That's totally in your control. You can't control 100% whether the teacher's, going to actually write you an amazing recommendation, which is, that is nerve-wracking, and that's life. But there is a lot that you can do to influence that outcome. The quality of your essays, the quality of your application. As I mentioned before, the application is no joke. If you can get someone to help you with it and have confidence that you can write a really great set of essays and make sure that your application is super high quality, that's a great thing that you're controlling. Managing your time and your stress, and watching videos like this to help you manage your confidence level, your happiness level, which directly affects your energy level. Those are good things too. Okay. Worrying about the outcome, trying to figure out, okay, what's definitely 100% going to get me in Harvard. That's not the way you want to go. Like, even thinking about that question itself will lead you down the wrong path. So don't do it. Okay. Final comment. This is especially for the, I won't say Asian families. Sounds a little racist, and it's not completely true either. I will say high-performing, high-achieving families. You will have parents, either mom or dad or someone, aunt, older sister, brother, who cannot do Bayesian thinking. They're not going to view college admissions the way I just outlined for you, and have them watch this video. Or have a nice chat with them over, some tea or coffee, and basically say, you're not thinking the right way about this, okay? Mark Lee, executive director of IBSN, said that you are wrong in the way you're approaching this, okay? You have my permission to say that. And then if they get mad, they can email me directly and I'll deal with them, okay? It's one of the biggest problems that you're going to face when you have a parent or a family member who's not approaching this very difficult process in the right way. And the right way is to do it in what I just talked about, thinking in probabilities, statistics, thinking very strategically about it. If they're emotional, if they're thinking in a very binary way, in a very formulaic way, it's going to lead to all kinds of problems, stress. If you're in Korea and you can come to IBSN, we're in Apgujeong, send us an email, mentors@ivzen.net, and we'll settle it for you. Bring your mom or dad or whoever's, not thinking about this the right way, and we'll tell them in very nice but very clear way, the proper way, the best way, the appropriate way to deal with this situation. Okay. I hope that helps. Well, I know it will help you if you really take the time to understand this. Any questions? mentors@ivzen.net.